done already?
Get up.
Whatever you say, Doc.
I'm ending the session. No, I'll be right there. You're sure about this? Yes. No. Everything's Denver. I don't see how he could... Of course. I understand. You're in a lot of trouble, Mr. Miles.
What's his problem?
They're coming for you.
Who's coming for me?
Assassins.
Hey, I had nothing to do with this.
Sounds like they're mounting some kind of rescue attempt. Guess you're more important than you realized.
Man, things just keep getting weirder and weirder around here.
It was bound to happen.
What do you mean?
That little fight your ancestors started during the Third Crusade, it never ended. You're being held by Templars.
Vidic's a Templar?
There's no way you could have known. They hide it so well. But to answer your question, Vidic works for them. We all do. Abstergo is their company.
I thought Templars were old dudes with funny hats who sat around drinking beer and plotting world domination with, like, the lizard people.
No, except the part about world domination, I guess. Look, Desmond, it's complicated. Half the stuff they say about the Templars comes from crazy tinfoil hat-wearing nut jobs. The other half is misinformation intentionally produced by the Templars themselves.
But they are the bad guys, right?
If there's one thing I've learned since I started working here, it's that there's no such thing. It's all so relative. I guess the best way to explain it is, what they want is good. But the way they're going about it, it's bad. Really bad.
What are they trying to do? Lucy.
Yes.
Miss Stillman, I need to speak with you. Get up here, now!
On my way, Doctor. I'm sorry, Desmond. I have to go. You should turn in for the night. The answers to all of your questions are right in front of you. You just have to know where to look.
And with that blank stare, we start. Hello everyone and welcome. My name is Andrew Can, together WeKanGame. In the last episode, we eliminated one of the 9. In this episode, we learned a little
Desmond,
bit...
I'm gonna get in trouble if I don't leave. And I can't leave until you're in your room.
We learned a little bit about Desmond right there. Learned a lot about his kind of character. Now the room is going to be locked. Lucy gave us quite the hint that everything we wish to know will be right in front of us. So we're going to have another time to sneak out as Desmond, collect a little bit more information, and learn about what's going on. As we heard, the big reveal. Warren Vidic works for the Templars. Abstergo is the Templars' industry hidden. Quite the reveal. So let us interact with this, enter the password, figure out what Lucy has been up to. Lucy being probably the closest thing we have to an ally here. I don't think we've had much of an update since... Yeah. So, hold on. She has one thing in the outbox. And this is to Mr. Ritkin. I'm hoping you might be able to help me understand why even 5 years after the fact, no one is willing to tell me what happened to my friend. If you're concerned about the sensitive information being divulged as a result of sharing this with me, I think my record at the company speaks for itself. Thank you for your assistance in this matter. Best, Lucy Stillman. So Lucy is still not satisfied with the answer she was given by Warren. So, if you remember, we quickly got Warren's passcode, so we can now access Vidic's personal computer. Let's learn a little bit about the man, shall we? Figure out what Vidic has been up to. Welcome, Vidic. We have 2 deleted files, so we're going to start here. Classified information. As a general reminder, all of basically saying that everything that happens to Abstergo stays with Abstergo. This is to sender unknown. I know. I know what you're doing. I know what you did. I saw him. He had a metal ball. It opened. They went crazy, shooting, stabbing. Tore each other to pieces. I know it was you people. Saw the logo, heard the name. I'm going to tell anyone who will listen. You'll be exposed. They'll know the truth, and then you will pay. You crazy bastards. You'll pay. someone has figured out a little bit of Abstergo's doing. So let's go to the outbox. I believe this is what he sent to Lucy. Lucy telling Warren that found his access key. We already read this, and this is him talking to her. But let's see what he has. We have the daily news, which is hurricane season ends, but in the way, basically saying that their launch will be postponed till December 21st, 2012. Let's see what the Abstergo News wire services. Tension mounts over Antarctic drilling. The US and EU are once again facing heavy criticisms for their decision to begin construction of jointly owned oil platforms in the Weddell Sea. Several supranational unions oppose the work, claiming it violates the Antarctic Treaty System. The situation has been further complicated in the presence of two naval destroyers said to be in the region of the resources unrelated to the construction. Basically talking about Abstergo offshore drilling in Antarctic. But Alan Ricken regarding to Layla Marino. So, from Lucy, he saw the emails. This is Alan's reply to Lucy. I will be out of the office starting September 1st. I will return on October 4th. In case of an emergency, please contact my assistant, Aubrey Jacobs, at the extension 1003. And Vidic replies, you told me she wasn't going to be a problem, and here she is stirring up this shit again. Deal with this, Vidic, Warren. You vouched for her. You're responsible for her. Vidic very upset that Lucy tried to go behind his back. And as you see, we are being recorded. So it's very interesting. I'm not sure if we can go to the other door. We learned a lot about Vidic. Vidic, even though he vouched for Lucy, he stood up for Lucy. Doesn't mean he's a good guy. So we're going to go back into our room, see if anything else we can search. But Vidic and Lucy's relationship is very, very interesting. Mostly because he did vouch for her. But at the same time, he's not afraid to get angry at her. He's not afraid to do many things. I believe this is all we can do for now, so we're going to sleep, and let's see what happens. For the first time in forever, there will be singing, there will be fun. No, Vidic did not personally come in to greet us. Showing a little bit of,
Missed
tension.
you this morning, Doc.
Get in the Animus.
Vidic not really up for Desmond's games. Let's see if we can talk to the man, get something out of him. Vidic does not wish to talk. Maybe Lucy will be more reluctant to say anything. Vidic very pissed because, as we heard, someone is coming for Desmond. If Lucy says anything, we'll see.
Stop screwing around and lie down on the Animus.
Vidic very unamused, so let us do what he wishes. Abstergo Industries loaded. And we're going...
To work, Desmond?
That we are, Lucy. We're going to continue the latest memory.
Come in, Altair. I trust you're well rested? Ready for your remaining trials?
I am, but I'd speak with you first. I have questions.
Ask then. I'll do my best to answer.
The merchant king of Damas murdered the nobles who ruled his city. Majd-ad-Din in Jerusalem used fear to force his people into submission. I suspect William meant to murder Richard and hold Akka with his troops. These men were meant to aid their leaders. Instead, they chose to betray them. What I do not understand is why.
Is the answer not obvious? The Templars desire control. Each man, as you've noted, wanted to claim their cities in the Templar name, that the Templars themselves might rule the Holy Land, and eventually beyond. But they cannot succeed in their mission.
Why is that?
Their plans depend upon the Templar treasure, the Peace of Eden. But we hold it now, and they cannot hope to achieve their goals without it.
What is this treasure?
It is temptation.
It's just a piece of silver.
Look at it.
What am I supposed to see?
This piece of silver cast out Adam and Eve. It turned staves into snakes, parted and closed the Red Sea. Ares used it to start the Trojan War, and with it a poor carpenter turned water into wine.
It seems rather plain for all the power you claim it has. How does it work?
He who holds it commands the hearts and minds of whoever looks upon it, whoever tastes of it, as they say.
Then Gagne's men?
An experiment. Herbs used to simulate its effects, to be ready for when they held it.
Talel supplied them. Tamir equipped them. They were preparing for something. But what?
War.
And the others, the men who ruled the cities, they meant to gather up their people, make them like Gagne's men.
The perfect citizens, the perfect soldiers, a perfect world.
Robert de Sable must never have this back.
So long as he and his brothers live, they will try.
Then they must be destroyed.
Which is what I've had you doing. There are 2 more Templars who require your attention. One in Akka, known as Sibrand. One in Damas, called Jubair. Visit with the Bureau leaders. They'll instruct you further.
As you wish.
Be quick about it. No doubt Robert de Sable is made nervous by our continued success. His remaining followers will do their best to expose you. They know you come, the man in the white hood. They'll be looking for you.
They won't find me. I'm but a blade in a crowd.
Here, my gift to you, in gratitude for the good work you've done.
And with that, DNA synchronization augmented, and Altair gets back his personal sword as well as a rank up. We are now rank 8, contrary to what it says rank 7. We now have the ability to defense break, and we also have Altair's personalized sword. It's really an honor to have this restored back to Altair. It's based on an eagle motif. If you notice, compared to his last sword, it's completely silver. His last sword had a leather wrapping around the tip. This showing that Altair is to be trusted. He is a higher ranking assassin once more, and making his way through the ranks yet again. Altair finally is starting to understand what is to be asked of him through the Brotherhood, and it's really quite a treat to see Altair finally understanding what is being asked of him by Al-Mualim. Now, we may have noted Al-Mualim said there's 2 more, but we're hunting for 9. It's going to be very important. Who is the 9th? Well, we'll get there in time. Right now, we're going to focus making our way to Damascus and finding Jubair. So, for the last time, let us travel to Damascus.
It's the hero of Damas. Come in, stay a while. Tell me all about your adventures.
I'm afraid I don't have the time.
I see. Too important for me now.
It's not that.
Nope, of course not. How may I serve you then?
Al-Mualim has asked I take the life of the one they call Jubair.
Ah, Salahadin's chief scholar. Strange choice of target in my opinion. But who are we to question the master's will? I'm sure he has his reasons.
Then you're familiar with the man.
He's been quite busy these past few days, organizing the scholars and sending them into the streets to preach.
What do they speak of?
Light and fire, cleansing sins, apocalyptic nonsense if you ask me. All this talk of paths and a new world.
What about this new world?
Couldn't say. I don't pay attention to the ramblings of madmen. Much too busy with real work.
Very well. I'll walk among the people, see what I can learn. Where would you suggest I search?
South of here, you'll find an academy and a guard tower. They're both good places to search. There's also a hospital to the east you might want to visit.
I'll begin at once.
So eager. You've certainly changed, and for the better, I might add.
And with that, we have our next assignment, our next target, Jubair. As you can see by the Rafik, very impressed with how Altair is changing. He's really becoming what he should have always been, in a sense. Altair was always destined to be a great assassin. He was just, I guess a fair way to say would be, he's always been conflicted. He's always been confused. He has been thrusted into this order from the young age of 11, so I guess this is him really growing up and realizing what he is capable of and what is requested of him. Now, Altair is growing, as the Rafik said. It's amazing to watch Altair really come into his own, finally understanding what's asked of him. Now, the Rafik mentioned that a scholar is a peculiar target, especially since the others have been slave traders, you know, kings, noblemen. The scholar's a little interesting, but who are we to question the work of Al-Mualim, the mentor? Now, this is going to be a little different. We have a little bit of time here, so I'm going to focus this little bit of saving some citizens and really utilizing this time to talk about how Altair is coming into his own and how the others in the order are starting to see it. I have a question for you. What do you think of Altair as a character? Do you think he is a strong character? Do you think he's weak? Do you think he is very strong-headed? Do you think he is arrogant? What are your opinions? Personally, I think Altair is probably, at best, misunderstood. I think that'd be the best description of him. So I'm going to save this citizen, and the hero of Damask will rise again. As you can see, the sword is a lot more ornate than the last sword variations we've been using. Because of the rank we are now, it is fitting. So we're gonna save this woman. The guards, of course, trying to wrong her, but Altair, brave man. One thing I haven't touched on is throwing guards into things like that. We're gonna use guard break. We're really using a lot of the combat styles up to this point to really show a lot of the progression of Altair. They called him the hero of Damask, and Altair is used to, I would say he'd be very, very big-headed about that, but he's taking this very humble. In his head, it's not something of want anymore. He likes being in the order, and he's starting to realize his role, his destiny.
What? Thank you. Who's done this? Tell me. I'll find a way to repay this kindness, I swear it.
And I was gonna end it here, but apparently there's a fight they want, so we're gonna give it to him. Take that. It also gives a chance to show what the vigilantes will do for you. We showed them the scholars will hide you, but the vigilantes will hold them off, giving you the ability just to wail on the guards. So that's one of the reasons you really want to save the citizens. They really add to your experience, making it much easier. Now this man, some would probably spare him, but I am not so generous. But with that, that's going to be it for this episode. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you had fun. I hope you learned something. More importantly, I hope you have a good day. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think of Altair? What do you think of his transformation? But thank you all so much again for watching. Bye.